I discovered just like that, which is pretty obvious, I suppose, that most foods that workers eat make them obese and push their stomachs up. And cheap food is like that. I suppose it's got a lot of fat in it, I don't know, fat and carbohydrate. And it bulks you up, makes you feel good, but it's very bad for you. And if you go to one of the restaurants where the pigs eat, you find that they have different sort of food. You can buy it in ordinary shops. It's not expensive food, but it doesn't give you bulk. It doesn't have bulk, so it doesn't bulk out the stomach. I've just discovered I've had a couple of ready meals, which are very nice, cheap, and they push my stomach out, so I can't put the belt on properly. So I'll have to stop ready meals. Ready meals are off the diet. That's a throw them away. I've only got one left, so I'll throw that away. They're cheap and they're nice, but they're bad for you. And it's actually doctors recommended. When I went to the doctor, and she thought I'd be better off with a big stomach, basically, and made me ill. And I'm not quite sure how she put me in the death camp, and they gave me quite good food. It was a balanced diet with, but the drugs they gave you slowed the gut down. You couldn't move about, so there was nothing to do there, just sit about. So you got fat, and so the treatment makes you ill. Doctors make people ill, and that's. Well, there's an economic benefit to making people ill, because the doctors obviously make money out of the sickness by giving them sickness bills, which wouldn't have had if you weren't ill. It's really heart disease, which is exacerbated by a poor diet. So everybody gets heart disease when they get older, but it's exacerbated by a poor diet. And doctors do. Sometimes some doctors will give you a bad diet, and I'm not always. I mean, if you go to a doctor for a diet, so you give you a diet, but it's usually impossible to eat it. I have some. It was difficult to stick to it, because well, obviously that's what they found. People will stick to it, but they're addicted. People are addicted to things like ready meals. And if you go, I was in a hospital in Budapest where I didn't have such things, and the food. There was a very strict food, and it was very bad for you. Actually, it was actually mostly bread. But if you stopped eating the bread, it was actually quite good for you. And it was just a little bit of ham and some what's it called, a paprika plant, which is the fruit of the paprika, I don't know what it is, which was not powdered, not dried or powdered like that. It was just as it was. And so they eat there. Now that's all right. That's all right. But the bread made people ill. And there was a couple of nurses there, the attendants, who were qualified people. They had very bad gut disease because of the bread they ate. It's flatulence and bread sucks up the gut. So bread is bad for you. It's Starve for life has been around for thousands of years, but it's not that good for you. You've got to eat small quantities. And so I did try rye vita, which is a rye bread, which doesn't have the gluten in it. That's better for you. Gluten is the stuff that does it. It's vegetable starch. It's a sort of starch, isn't it? So it blocks up the gut, and it slows the gut down and makes it bulk, which tastes nice. It's good. It's nice for you. And if you're in a situation where you can't eat anything else, is obviously the best thing to do. So I should be buying Ravisa and things like that now. And I should have had it all my life, but I haven't always been fat. It just comes and goes. Oscillating stomach, and because when I had a heart attack, I lost a lot of weight. My stomach was huge before. I was 90 kilograms. Well, I'm about that now. Got to lose it. And the first thing they do in a heart hospital is lose weight. But that's good for you. But when you come out, they say you must eat this, must eat that, you must have that. You know, I was more or less forced to eat food that bulked me out. The people who did it thought it would make me strong, but it made me weak. And that was including my mother, who gave me. He said, couldn't stand the fact that I was slim. I must be fat. You know. And I met an African woman who's, she was a friend, but She funny idea. Didn't beat up my mother because she said things to disagree with. She seemed mad, but she said old people should sit on the chair and blanket over them. Old people aren't like that. But old people will be young. But she thought because I was that shape, bulge, I had good food all my life, and therefore I had a good life, which is true. I had plenty of money to buy it, but it's not good for you. I don't think it affects the length of your life. It just makes it more comfortable. And you can see plainly the injury to my face. It's obviously a razor slash and a knife wound. I'm not quite sure. It scissors up my face. It's awful. But I do put cosmetics on it sometimes. And I grew a moustache side it a bit. I grew that up because it irritated badly. And it didn't really make much difference. The smile is the important thing, not the vicious scar. People realise surgery is a mess. It's a knife wound. And it was done for religious reasons. It's appalling. The Christians do this sort of thing, but I think the Muslims are just as bad. But I think I went inside of that. It's all rubbish to me. But you tell a strong man he's a liar, or whatever it is. He doesn't like it. Anyway, I think that's what it was. And if you get involved with the gang of criminals, they want you to be a criminal too. If you don't, then they get you. Then they accuse you of the crimes they commit in order to take it off them. That's nasty. Men are alive. They're nasty. But I found that doctors give you food that makes you well. And they thought it would, I don't know what the reason was, I thought it would make me more attractive. The doctor didn't actually like rubbing their hands on my tummy, which is a bit of a joke. Apparently the women do actually like slightly bulge and stuff, but not too much. My bulge was made me so big I couldn't run the clothes. Well, I'm still quite big, but it's very difficult to lose weight because I know where it is. It's fat in the gut, and I don't know the anatomy very well. But it's difficult to lose fat because you've got to burn it. Now, one way of burning fat is to eat fat, nothing else. If you eat dog fat, you eat bacon and ham and stuff. And if you just stick to that and use that as your energy source, your body will burn fat, and the fat you have on you will burn. Because it's the same. It's animal starch, they call it. Something glycine, I can't remember what it is now. And I can't remember. It's actually it's a protein reacting with carbohydrate, real mess, and it glues you up. It's bad for you. If you have it around the heart, in the heart it's fatal, and it gets in the arteries everywhere. So if you lose the fat in the body, that will also lose the fat in the arteries, which improves circulation. So it's good for you. And exercise won't do it, because you just full of muscle. Well, muscle is good for you as well, but not too much. So it's the fat in the body that causes the problem. And because the cholesterol is generated by the body to take the fat around the body, and it is used by the body to. And you need fat because your whole body contains fat. So you don't want these drugs. These drugs, not necessary. I mean, it's the conventional medicine say you give pills. Well, that's easier and it's very good for the wallet, good for the doctor's wallet, not our wallet. And that's how medicine's proceeded. In other countries, it's dieting. And I seem to remember I met a man in Hungary who was enthusiastic about the West, and he wanted Western treatment for diabetes. Well, diabetes is caused by overweight, usually. It's too much fat, too much sugar or something. But it's eating it's caused it. And the Russian treatment is to diet, and the people will recover. But the Western treatment is to have injections. Well, the injections do all sorts of things, and the result of the injections of insulin, he lost his leg, one leg, and so it's crippled. And so, but I did tell him it was the Western treatment. I didn't like it very much. And the Russian treatment, although it's painful, is actually better. And the same with heart disease. It's obviously they know that. And the communist treatment to treat the cause of the disease rather than the symptoms. I mean, the Western treatment to treat the symptoms. Fatness is a symptom of eating too much, and you've got to stop eating. And that's strict diet. Well, in most Eastern European countries, food is scarce, and not government policy. People want food, and people are slim, and that's the reason, and it's good for them. I'm not saying as they start half done by it. And you don't want fat people in factories because they don't move about, they don't do anything. So and slim people are healthier. And the Russians that I met, I mean, when communism became, when they sort of, when they actually collapsed, where they started opening their doors to the West and people going over here, they were slim and healthy. And we were all fat and stupid. But we won. I don't mind. But yeah, so we weren't as stupid as all that. But anyway, it's a fact that the conventional wisdom is to give drugs to treat the symptoms rather than the cause. And for a lot of these diseases, obesity, actually heart disease and strokes and even cancers are caused by chemicals by bad diet. I mean, I don't know, but especially the cancer of the gut. And as the food gets stuck in the gut, and that irritates the gut, can cause cancer. So dieting is good for you. We all know that. And it has all these fad diets. They're no good. You just got to stop eating. And if you don't have any money, that's quite easy. Well, I've been deceived by the cost of the ready meals to buy a ready meal, and it's nice, and it's a pound, and very nice, and it keeps you going. But it's not good for you. I'm going to stop that. I've got one left on the throwaway, and of course I've also been eating this flour and water instead of buying bread, which is even worse. But flour and water can make you fat too, because it's fattening. You've got to have some. And of course I like sugary things as well. Of course I do. And you can buy marmalade with it, but that's expensive. But you can put sugar on it, it's cheaper. But obviously you've got to be careful. And I've been having rice puddings with sugar, which is nice. But so I've got fat again. But so it's not good. Well, I wasn't that thin. I got hungry. But I mean, being a little round with a head on top is not very nice. Roll on the ground. I'm quite short actually. I'm shrinking in I don't know what my height is now, but the light switches are rising, and some people I come up to their waist. Some people, normal people, I see, I come up to their waist. It's a bit of a joke being that I don't know what my height is. I thought I was 5'2" or 5'7" or something. 5'7" one time. 5'2". I don't know what I am now, but I mean these people must be 7 foot tall. I don't know. So it's difficult to tell. I can't tell how tall I am unless I go on a measure, and I didn't appear. I have been, doctors have measured my height, and I haven't seen the result. But a little shorty, and my wife is slightly shorter than me. And of course, the drugs they give me in hospitals, of course, which I shrink. I think they're called cell death, and well, the one response to cell death is to shrink. That's what old people do. They shrink. So I'm shrinking. Well, I am old, so shrinking is normal. And you can't reach up. You can't reach the top shelf, that sort of stuff. And because you shrink, and so I'm shrunk. The shrinks shrunk me. So that's why I call shrinks. Not they shrink the brain, but I think the idea was to shrink my brain, but it probably did shrink, but everything else has shrunk as well. So doctors make you ill, basically, and they do it to make money. So not very good. And of course they take all your money as well. If they don't charge you fees, but they all disappear. And so I've been shrunk, both in money and in physical bulk. So I walk about. People must think it's a bit funny seeing this little shorty walking about, midget. Anyway, but so don't see your doctor unless you're so ill you have to, and then they do treat you. If you've got something really wrong with you, they fix it. It's their instinct to do so as a human being. But not all doctors are they're professionals when they think they're superior, and they would say, "Oh, they're knowledgeable of the body," but it is a feeling of superiority, and they use it to oppress the workers. Because workers are the other side. They're them. Them. and the doctors are us. So we think the other way around. We're us and they're them. Anyway, so but I've seen both sides because I was brought up by aristocrats, and I was taught, that I was better than other people, and that that's natural, but it wasn't. I realised it wasn't true, but so they threw me out. And I searched out, I wanted to be a worker. I decided, but I needn't have done. Could have been a merchant banker. Like that. That would have brought money for me and funded. I didn't know merchant bankers as well, but they fund projects and things. But I wanted to make the projects, and I couldn't find any merchant bankers to back me. But anyway, but my projects were relatively cheap. If you've got enough money, you can't afford anything else. And so amateurs do things cheaper, do things other professionals do, but they do it cheaper. And they reuse parts. And when they finish with one thing, they dismantle it and use the bits of something else. But that's how it is. And it's everything that you have is invented by someone. The doctors say nobody invents it. That's not true. Everything you do is an invention, basically. Every step you take is an invention, even for people with brain damage. But it's different. It's always the same. It's invention, and it's a closure of a loop. You have a problem, and you've got a starting position, and to get from the starting position to the solving the problem is closing a loop, and in a gap, closing a gap, and that's problem solving, and that's creative. Which uses creativity, knowledge, and experiments, and that's called an invention. And there's a creative step, or probably more than one creative step in each invention. And everything we have is an invention, so somebody's invention. And this thing I'm playing with now is probably the work of hundreds of people. And we can all do a bit. And it's all for the society is evolved, and it's not nice, basically. But things could improve. But hopefully it will. The mechanisation of labour will free people up to be more creative. But they don't want. They want to kill us all off. We don't need us anymore. Well, I mean, the idea of one free man ruling the world is not right. We want hundreds of millions of free people to do things, not that. And then you have the society which you should have. The idea of one free man is worth 10 slaves, or perhaps 10,000 slaves, but they think the opposite. But there's 10,000 free people. Well, so that's the thing. So the people in charge are doing the wrong thing, in my opinion. Freedom is the way to wealth, and not slavery. And when a person is forced into servitude, which is what happens over here, they lose their minds simply by being slaves, and creativity all goes. They do the minimum amount of work, and they won't do anything. If they time to time off, they go off, they run away, and so they run away from work. They don't like it. So that's what actually happens. It's absenteeism. They don't like it because they're slaves. And people are free, but work enthusiastically on what they're doing, because they're free, and they're obviously happily rewarded immediately by what they earn from doing it. And even starving men will create things, and sometimes usually to make food, but to feed their families and to survive. Well, this machine I'm making is survival. It's not just for me. And as obviously other people are doing the same thing. Some people are more successful than others. And if I'm successful, if I find the direction of it, we'll all benefit, and that means I'll benefit. And that's true. So, and stealing people's money doesn't make them rich; it makes them poor. I've got some funny ideas, and well, I live for a day, have £10,000, go and spend on a tour of Europe, go on trains and buses and planes in real good time, and then you'll come back to reality. That's what I think. You have a good time, because you only have one innings, and that's it. And I saved up for a long time, and I got all stolen. That's not nice. And every time I get money, I make money, I don't steal it. I get it. I have it given to me by people, or I earn it, or I don't know, something like that. And they steal it. They're nuts. And they can't make money themselves. They have to steal it. And some people make it their business to steal money from people. You know, it's their job. I'm a thief. And that's what I say. I get the money. He does the work. And that's so that's what a man he called himself Paddy. He was I won't say his name, but he was Irish. His idea that when somebody is able, somebody else grabbing his money and forcing him to work. That's his idea. That's the idea of civilization. Well, maybe Irish civilization isn't that good, but I don't know. It does vary. I mean, so there's poets and inventors and scientists in Irish as well. So maybe there are. But he was. They believe in leprechauns and hobgoblins and things. Well, people have all sorts of beliefs. And well, so it's ludicrous. But I had a little gnome in a bottle which had snow. In a bottle of snow, you shook it up and it snowed. And you're making him dizzy. You know, that's leprechaun frozen to stone. I think he took it with him. But it's something there. They're all looking for my money, you know. I haven't got any. Good joke.